Who is it?
It's Bri.
It's Broderick.
It's not Broderick.
Yes, it is. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Jump on the Bat-Wagon. James and Broderick. That's your name.
Oh, you're giving this too much. Too much.
Broderick is your name.
It's not my name.
Yes, it is.
Will you introduce this podcast before we get so off kilter? Hi.
We've had like 2 weeks off.
We have, and now we don't know how to podcast.
We don't. We also didn't change a single goddamn thing about this podcast. It's exactly what you expect in every way.
It's what you expect, but we changed.
We have grown 2 weeks of time.
We've aged 2 weeks of time. We've grown 2 weeks of time.
Brian is now 77. I am 22. This is
Wait, you're getting younger?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Oh no,
I have Benjamin Button syndrome.
It's gonna be really weird when your son gets older than you.
Yeah, I know. I've thought about that. At some point, the paths will cross, and he will be hosting the podcast. It's just an inevitability. I have to just deal with it. It's fine. But speaking of, this podcast is where we watch through the entire DC animated universe from start to finish in the controversial airdate order. Yeah.
Yeah.
To experience the shows the way humans experienced them in the 1990s, a long time ago. Brian here has only seen 21 episodes of the DC animated universe in their entirety that he remembers because we've been doing I don't know, you probably caught some when you were a kid.
Brian's seen 22 episodes and remembers about 3.5.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a better way of putting it, yeah. Brian's seen 21 episodes of the DCAU, doesn't remember what happened in Joker's favor, but it's okay.
The Joker asked a favor of Batman, and Batman said yes because he's a good guy. What?
Can you actually tell me what happened in Joker's favor?
Not by title.
I mean,
that's absolutely not how my brain works.
That's the one where the guy owes Joker a favor.
And Joker
later,
pops out of a cake.
He wasn't a cake, yeah.
The end.
So today we're watching Prophecy of Doom, starring Doom Guy. Not really, though, but if only.
Harvey Doom Guy?
Doom Guy. Did you get my Snapchat earlier?
No.
Open it on the podcast.
You want me to open it right now?
Yeah, hold it up to the mic.
Okay, hold on.
If there's anyone named Mike in the room with you, you have to show them.
There's Max.
That's close enough.
Max, look at this. Oh, he stiffed my phone. Okay, hold on. It's okay. Here we go.
Spider-Man. No.
I stole the joke from Maddie. I'm listening to the soundtrack to the new Spider-Man movie, which is called Spider-Man No Way Home, but that's all that my stereo showed in the car. Spider-Man, no. Don't do it.
Is that going to happen in the... No, Spider-Man's Marvel games.
No. You don't know anything at all. You've only seen 21 episodes of Spider-Man.
I've seen...
You had two different predictions for this episode. Prophecy of Doom.
Oh, MF
the
Doom.
First was it was going to be Angels and Demons like Good Omens that you just finished. Then it was MF Doom was going to be, that was it. That was the entire prediction. It was just MF Doom.
Yeah.
And Doom Guy. Teaming up. Because it's either, what was it? It's either... something or hip hop. I've already forgotten.
Oh, books or hip hop.
Books or hip hop.
Somebody
two.
wrote. One of our listeners wrote me on Instagram the other day and said they're going to try to make books or hip hop be a thing in their everyday life. And I'm like, that's great. That makes me real happy.
Two choices in life. Prophecy of Doom was the 19th produced episode and 22nd to air.
Well, that's close,
but no cigar. You know. What is that? Why do people say that?
Close,
was the cigar the pinnacle of being correct?
I think it's like a Carney Games, like on the midway, and maybe your prize is.
I know some of those words.
I think this. If you go to a carnival and there's a Carney out there and he's doing things and you're playing games and maybe if you get the basket and the hoop, you get a cigar.
The top prize is a cigar.
Yeah, and so you
for these games for 10-year-olds.
Look at man, 10-year-olds can smoke
tobacco industry
cigars.
was raging at the time. The story of this episode is by Dennis Marks, directed by Frank Power. I think so. Directed by Frank Power. Power. How do you say it?
I don't close my mouth when I say it. Oh,
Pa. Frank Pa.
How does he say it?
I don't know. I'll ask him sometime. Music by Shirley Walker and animation by Oh no,
the Cowboy Bebop people.
Oh no, Acom Production Company.
Oh no.
Simultaneous. Yep. So yeah, and there is. I've got a lot of trivia for this episode. So you ready to watch it?
I'm ready to
talk about it.
I'm ready to watch it so we can talk about it.
Oh, by the way, if you're listening to this and you haven't watched Prophecy of Doom in the last 30 minutes, maybe consider doing so before continuing.
Yeah, Dylan.
It wasn't until that moment when I came so close to death that I realized you really did have a divine connection. To think I ridiculed you. Can you ever forgive me?
Of course. I rejoice in your soaring consciousness.
Nostromos, I was thinking, a man of Bruce's standing, his influence, should he not be considered for the Brotherhood?
Yes, it's preordained. Welcome, Brother Bruce.
No, not Bruce.
Lisa, you don't understand.
Oh, I understand, all right. You're like all the rest. Suckered in by this money-grubbing, bogus creep.
Lisa!
You know what my inner voice tells me, Nostromos? You've ripped off your last victim.
I'm so sorry.
Do not apologize. She will believe. They will all believe after the great fall.
What did you think of the episode, Broderick?
Brother
Broderick. What happened is what I mean. I always say, what did you think immediately? And I do mean, tell me what happened to the episode.
I feel like I'd rather have a, what did you think?
Before you describe it.
Yeah.
Or instead of.
This podcast. Let me describe this episode of the podcast.
Down, yeah. So far we've said, hi, welcome back, blah, blah, blah. And then we've been like, Brother Broderick, and here we are.
Oh, good times.
Yeah, I remember them.
Me too. All right, do you want to know what happened, Jamie?
Sure, I guess.
Maybe you should watch the episode.
Oh, shit. Damn it. I should have just watched the episode, like we just did.
Okay.
Sorry, dear listener. It's been a while since we recorded.
Okay. So to start off the episode, the Titanic sunk.
Yes, it did. Thank you. I didn't remember that part.
There was like 3 minutes of the Titanic sinking,
yeah.
and it probably wasn't supposed to be the Titanic, but it looked like the Titanic, and the water might as well have been icebergs. And
yeah, it was just filled with white reflections of moon that were way too prominent and plentiful.
Yeah.
Acom!
From the production company that brought you the moon fading into a clip of the moon.
A different moon, yeah. This one's slightly larger.
I think they were trying to do a passage of time, but like
I guess
fade from the moon to a sun. Don't fade from the moon to a slightly larger moon.
It felt like a transition you'd see of like, oh, the bat signal in the moon, or the moon in like a different circular object,
like
oh, cool transition. Yeah. And then instead it was just moon to moon, but the second moon was a different moon. I see a bad moon rising. I see a bad moon transition.
That's that artsy thing. I know we're going to be like tearing this to shreds, but that is as bad as in the Titanic. They had this camera shot that was like on the dance floor, and it was, by the way, like what year are we in? They had like a light up disco dance floor. Anyway,
we're in 1940-90.
Okay.
Remember?
Yes, sure. So the camera was panning down like over these people dancing over the dance floor, and then it kind of panned straight down into darkness. And then rather than continuing the pan down and the light coming up, the camera went from left to right. Did you notice this?
No, I did
So
not.
it went down through the dance floor and everything.
yeah.
It went completely black, and then you're expecting the camera to continue down or
Down.
maybe go back up, but suddenly you come right
Sideways.
out of you come sideways out of this like boiler. Or
Maybe
something
it's
like
like gravity's different down there, so
yeah, gravity moves
the
left
camera
to right.
went a different direction.
It made this as it was going down. It just started to curve slightly.
Yeah, it rotated. There's a whole entire planetary system at the end. There might as well have been inside the boat too, and it's just the gravity well is very strange inside the Titanic.
Things are weird on Titanic too.
Electric
The
dance.
podcast. Titanic 2,
Titanic 2.
Electric
This
Boogaloo.
time it's in the 90s. So yeah, they're on the casino Titanic, and then I like how you turned. I'm glad you turned away from your microphone directly into the headphone microphone. So that was the loudest thing I've ever heard.
Sorry, buddy.
But-
Also, you're welcome. You're supposed to cough into the mic.
I know. I
You're
didn't
gonna
want
have
to hurt
so
the dear
much.
listener.
You're gonna. You're nice, man.
Thank you.
We're gonna have just so much cough cutting out to do on this episode.
No, I'm keeping both of those. So what happens
Yeah.
next?
Okay, so the Titanic happens, which is all basically just to set up the idea of Nosferatu, Nostromos, which I'm pretty certain is like just something in Greek, and I can't like.
We'll
the
get there.
night.
We'll get there. I've got that.
No, is it the night?
Trivia.
What would it be?
No.
Okay, we'll figure that out later.
Yes.
Basically, it sets up the idea of Nostromos, this psychic dude who's predicted this ship sinking and that the dude shouldn't get on it. And we're pretty quickly led to believe that this guy is a quack and or making tragedies happen to bolster his psychic predictions.
Immediately, you're like, oh, he did it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, Nostromos told me not to get on that boat, and then the boat fucking exploded. Oh, I wonder who blew up the boat.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's not like they're trying to keep it a secret or like, what is he doing bad things? But it's just like so quickly, like as if this episode is definitely for like 8-year-olds to just like, I know, I figured it out. I know the bad guy.
Yeah, it's an episode of Blue's Clues.
Yeah. Do you know who blew up the Titanic? Great. There's a big blue paw print on Nostromo's back. And Bruce is like, oh, how could I have been so blind? Yeah.
Oh, God. I have to watch these levels here. My bad. Sorry, future James.
It's all good. You know how it goes.
I do. Okay, so yeah, basically Nostromos turns out to be a bad dude who's running this scam to get money out of rich dudes.
Yeah. Bruce is at dinner with some hottie and her dad, for some reason. Was he there to have a business deal with dad or date daughter and why was dad there? I don't get it.
So they have a
also, how old is she? Because he's like, dude looks maybe like pushing 60, and like Bruce, I don't know. There's gonna be some weird Bruce dating stuff in the future, so just get ready for that. But you know,
millionaire playboy, he makes up his rules. He hangs out with Epstein. It's fine.
He did have his very Atlantic accent. What did you call that?
Transatlantic.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
For any time you want to sell a boat.
Yeah, he's like, I'm talking like this, and hey Doc, what's the fucking starlings in my chimney voice? And he's just like trying to butter up dad for some reason, and then they just happen to talk about Nostromos. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm in this like secret guild that you've never heard of, and it's run by guy in a purple cloak.
Nostromos.
Would you like to come see him? And he's like, yes.
The end.
That's pretty much is what happened.
Yeah. So what happened after we established that Nostromos is a bad guy. Bruce goes to, see one of his things, one of his like performance prediction things.
His David Blaine act. He's unimpressed, like audibly unimpressed, and like being distracted. That was the
in
best
show.
scene, probably.
Yeah,
is him just being like, "Hey, what is he talking about? The stars have aligned, so my asshole is in the right position." Right, okay.
Yeah, so Nostromos gets all like kind of upset at Bruce for like talking during his performance, and basically is like, "You're next, buddy," and makes his cup explode.
They didn't explain that one. They show all his tricks are happening in the back room, but then like, was there just a pitch that he played that blew up the glass? Was the glass rigged from the start?
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop, James?
A glass. Oh. I've licked many glasses and they never melt. What happens next?
I don't have anything to add to that.
I hope not.
Okay, so what happens next? Nostromos' henchman basically like goes to sabotage Bruce's
elevator.
His elevator, his personal elevator.
This is so boring to describe. I'm so sorry.
It kind of is.
The guy puts a wrench in the elevator.
But the thing is, like, some lackey who works in the lobby or whatever is like, "Oh, Bruce, your personal elevator is working really well now. The repairman just told me." And Bruce is like, "Oh, that's
cool,
probably
thanks.
funny, but thanks." And I'm just like sitting there like, "Don't go in the elevator. He's obviously rigged it. You didn't ask for a repairman, and there's a repairman."
And as the elevator is falling about 100 miles an hour, he changes into his Batman costume and flies out of there.
Yeah. So the elevator thing actually blows up, and some acid gets dumped on it. All normal things. And
the guy has like a chemist's vial
of
acid that he tips. He like trickles it onto the rope. And then he has like 2 more that he throws at a pipe later.
Yeah, where is he holding these vats of acid that he's able to run and tumble with? That
I have a suggestion for the podcast title, but you haven't said it yet. You said it about 30 times during the episode. It was a phrase.
That doesn't work.
That's not how that works.
Or that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, listener, let me level with you here. I am someone who at least like fancies myself of having like an engineering mindset. In my early days, I got into mechanics stuff, and I was an automobile mechanic. Actually, before that, I was like renovating and restoring old houses.
You've lived a long, full 77 years. Yeah.
So I know how houses are built. I know how cars work. I wanted to be a bike mechanic for like a quick minute in my early days. I got into professional AV installation. So like I have a background that is all about understanding how to build things and understanding how things work. And this episode...
Cameras do not go down and then right, okay?
Beyond that, I feel like I have
actual physics in this episode was all over the place.
Yeah, experience in life to be able to say like, "Oh, hey, that doesn't work." Like for example,
you were like mad when he pulled the pipe off.
There's like a high pressure steam pipe on this building top, and the dude goes over it, grabs it, and like rips it out of its position as if it was just a cardboard, like a spent paper towel roll. Laying on a counter, and he just grabs it. And it's
that
like,
anyone can do that,
Yeah, like if that's a high pressure pipe, it's not. It's under a lot of pressure. It's really, really held in place, and you're not just going to grab it. By the way, if you grab it, you're going to burn yourself. You're not just going to grab it and pull
gloves.
it off.
Well, and he if he somehow had the strength to pull it off, it wouldn't come off in this clean, perfectly unbent cylinder that he can whack Batman with a couple times before it gets tossed out of his hands or whatever happened.
Yeah.
I think this is just an example of one of the many times of like, okay, we need Batman's fighting the guy. I don't know, storyboard artists will figure it out. And then like there's pipes. Just put pipes on the rooftop and they'll just grab pipes, I guess. Like whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
no one is going to care or think about this except Broderick 20 years from now.
I think the other one that really, really got me was at the very end. I guess I don't want to spoil the description too much. But like there's all these like he's got these planets that are spinning around this room, and they're all hanging on these ropes, right? And we've like seen them interacting with those ropes, and we've seen the tension on the ropes. And at the very, very end, like things are spinning around kind of out of control, and they cut, like the machinery breaks down upstairs or whatever, and everything like just slows to an immediate stop as if the brakes were put on. And it's like, if these are these big, huge, 20, 30 foot wide
that
objects
are exploding and crashing into each other, yeah.
crashing, hanging from ropes, they wouldn't just screep and stop moving.
Yeah,
they would
the
swing
Earth or whatever.
And there'd be some momentum and inertia behind it. But
whichever planet that was supposed to be that falls on Nostromos at the end.
Earth?
I think but you, as you pointed out, there's like 2 Saturns, there's like 12 total planets flinging around, so it's like, I don't know what's going on. Whatever, I think it was Earth that fell first. It falls toward Nostromos at like an alarming pace. Like it's like 2 frames of animation, it fucking slams into the ground. I was like, oh my God, that's the heaviest thing ever. And then it just like rolls a couple feet and then just goes and turns around and it does an Indiana Jones toward him, but there's no like momentum change, or the floor is completely flat. Why did it do that? And then it rolls over the top of him and crumbles like it's made out of like cottage cheese. Like it has no
yeah, you got
feta cheese is what I meant. Sorry,
huge
cheese
thing,
of some kind. Yeah,
some kind of cheese. The podcast.
It's so heavy and it's so deadly, and then when it rolls on top of him, it just crumbles like a puzzle, like one of those like puzzle ceiling things you hang. Like it's like you've seen those. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, but it's in a sphere.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Are you too old for this,
I'm
old
too
man?
Old for this. I'm 77.
Anyway.
We just established.
Yes.
But yeah, the idea that this
For
thing
now.
is so big and heavy that it could crush a person, you wouldn't want to get hit by it.
Yeah.
But that it flings 20 or 30 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet, who knows, onto the ground and doesn't break. As you said, rolls one direction, stops, rolls back the other direction, and then falls to pieces when it comes in contact with
We
him.
can't help ourselves already talking about this, even though you haven't finished explaining
God.
the episode. So he fights a guy on the roof, and then Bruce Wayne's like, I know Nostromo's a bad guy. I'm going to go to the Brotherhood meeting, and he does, and then all the chaos happens. He kidnaps a daughter, and then the fight, and then the end.
Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay.
I really didn't want to describe.
Bruce Wayne becomes concerned when some of his richest friends are seduced into a New Age Brotherhood scam by Nostromos, a fraudulent psychic. Bruce joins the Brotherhood in an attempt to debunk Nostromos' claims. Nostromos, predicting the fall of civilization, urges his acolytes to transfer their bank funds to the Brotherhood's coffers. Batman exposes Nostromos' scheme to bilk the members of their money and captures him after a chase through a planetarium. In the end, Bruce's friends learn an important lesson about where to place their faith.
Mail time?
Oh, whoops. That was supposed to be the laughing sound. Is it this? I think I took the laughing sound off. Sorry. It's not mail time yet.
You need to monitor yourself, buddy.
Nope. Yeah, that was the TV guide explanation.
Yeah.
It didn't really get anything wrong, other than just him saying it's saying that he chases him through a planetarium because they were just in that the whole time. But
it's also wrong to say that some of Bruce's richest friends, because there's like a dude that he knows.
Yeah, a guy and his daughter that he wants to boink or whatever's going on there. I don't know. I think my favorite parts of this episode are the fact that they somehow got away with just being like, hey, anyone that believes in astrology and this kind of thing is stupid as shit. That was just the entire like theme of the episode. Batman, it was like Alfred being like, "What? How did you know the thing?" And he's like, "The stars were aligned, Alfred." Or what? I don't remember.
Yeah,
what he
something about like
said.
psychic vibrations or something.
Yeah, psychic vibrations, Alfred. Like it's such a mocking tone, and he's constantly just like, "Oh yeah, right, okay," about everything, which is correct way to feel about it. Sorry, Ted, if you're listening. Ted's got like crystals and stuff. I don't know if he believes in this stuff. Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with crystals.
I don't know if he believes in like seeing a bad moon rising.
What's bad moon look like?
I don't know.
It's always just the moon, right?
It's the second one the one it faded into that's the bad
the bigger, badder moon.
The big bad moon getting closer to the earth. Yeah, I don't know.
Jimmy,
this is
episode,
quite.
It's not like it's so bad that it's not even just like
Yeah, it's not funny
mockable.
bad.
It's just like, we watched this.
Yeah, you were sitting there on the couch afterward, just like nothing to say, not even laughing at the badness, just being like, I guess I watched that. And that happened to be, we watched it with your roommate Kimmy, and it happened to be the first one that she watched.
Yeah.
And just being like, I'm so sorry about that. Like, you've been listening to every episode of the podcast, and, I could finally, I'm going to sit in and watch this episode. And then just, nope.
Yeah, sorry, Kimmy. That's, you didn't come in on a good one.
No.
Are we going to do, like...
any in person ever? No, I don't think so. I think I'll just keep saying,
You're gonna keep
we're going to do
us.
it soon. Yeah.
Jamie.
What?
Do you want to just talk about the cast right now?
Yeah, right now, immediately after the last thing we said, and I didn't cut out a big chunk.
No, you cut it. You cut that stuff from before.
I didn't cut.
Jamie.
Oh, okay. Kevin Conroy as Batman.
Get
Ephraim
up on the
Zimbalist
hydras.
Jr. as Alfred.
Alfred is played by Ephraim
Zimbalist Jr. Michael Desbars.
Douglas.
Michael Desbars as Nostromos.
I love going to day bars.
Yeah.
I'm 77 years old.
He played a character named Murdoch in a few episodes of MacGyver. And he was
MacGyver.
also in several episodes of Melrose Place.
I don't love Melrose
So
Place.
there you go. Well, you'll be unhappy to hear that Heather Locklear plays Lisa,
Really?
the daughter.
Okay.
Who's mostly known for Melrose Place. She was also apparently the leading lady in The Return of Swamp Thing in 1989, which I did not know.
That's
until
my
looking this
favorite
up.
movie.
Me too. Aaron Kincaid as Lucas. He was just Killer Croc in the previous episode, but now he played Nostromos' gay lover, Lucas. And then they called him his partner at the start, and I said, "Oh, how
That's
progressive!" And then, but then, like the rest of the episode, I'm like, I mean, maybe there's nothing to say it's not true.
Yeah. Why not?
William Wyndham as Ethan, the dad, I guess. Uncle Chunk in a bunch of Sonic the Hedgehog, not Chunk, Chuck. I'm keeping that in.
Next episode of Jamie Reads.
Uncle Chunkle. And he also had bit parts in a bunch of really old 40s through 60s stuff like Star Trek, Twilight Zone, To Kill a Mockingbird, Escape from the Planet of the Apes,
Wait a minute.
etc.
I just thought of something.
What?
Chunkle.
Yeah.
It's like Grunkle.
Oh, it's not like an uncle who's also chunky?
No, it's like a Grunkle, which is a great uncle, which if you've watched Gravity Falls, Jamie.
Well, I haven't.
Can we talk about Gravity Falls? This episode sucked.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's watch all 10 episodes right now and come back. Okay, but I do have surprisingly large amount of trivia for this episode.
Tell me about your big trivs.
Yeah, my big trivs, number one, is Nostromos' global clocks are way off. This is something that you caught during the episode, but you caught a different thing that I didn't see. You said that they had like different countries listed when he climbed up the ladder than they did when he climbed down the ladder.
Yeah.
Which I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice the time, but I noticed that on the way up it said like UK time or something like that. And then when he came down, where that clock was before, it just said London.
The big trivs is talking about how the London clock reads 11:08, meaning New York and Tokyo should be 7:08 and 20:08, but New York says 7:22 and Tokyo says 11:32. So they're all completely off. And that's another like, there's just clocks. Just draw hands. I don't care.
That's someone who doesn't understand how time zones work. And I think there's like 1 or 2 time zones in the world that do change the minute. There's one in like China or Mongolia,
But probably
or
not
like
off by
that.
like 10 to 20 minutes.
Not like 32 or like 22 minutes or whatever. But it's like it's a quarter, I think. Like maybe it was like 15 and 45 or something like that. I can't remember.
I mean, that does make sense to do. because that is how that works.
It's a lot more accurate
The
than how
Earth
we
is
do it.
round, people. Nostromo's told me.
It's a nice round disc. You know?
Yes.
It's like a round object laying flat on a table.
Yes, it's just a 2-dimensional circle, yeah. Bruce, speaking of the Bard, is in reference to, this is the last sentence of the episode, in reference to the tragedy of Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. The quote is from Act 1, Scene 2, spoken by Cassius. Men at some time are masters of their fates. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings.
Can you actually read that like a Shakespearean actor would?
No, I just did.
Oh, okay.
Background music during the planetarium battle has a distinct similarity to the Mars movement from Gustav Holst's Planet Suite, which also inspired John Williams' Imperial March. This is the dun 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 thing that was just happening the entire time that the Heather Locklear is swinging around on a planet ball. You're like, oh no, I can tell that the animation is supposed to look like the Saturn ring is going to slice me open, but instead I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just kind of wiggling around. I don't know what's going on.
There's so much, Jamie. There's so much. And I actually saw this thing the other day that I couldn't unsee when it came to this episode. But it was talking about the idea of in movies or whatever, you have people, you put a piece of duct tape over their mouth. Stop me if you heard this one. And
Is it just lick it?
basically, they're showing real time about how that is not an efficient anything. You open your mouth and the duct tape
It'll
will
come
pop
off.
off. You blow hard, or you stick your tongue out or whatever, your tongue out, and you can just.
There's
foil
also
that
if your wrists are wrapped in duct tape, you can just do a very swift outward motion and it'll just break.
I mean, yeah, if you get the force on one side of it, duct tape is meant to be ripped.
Yeah.
Anyway,
with your teeth even. Yeah.
I mean, your teeth, you could probably reach your wrists, with a hand and some.
Yeah, just bend it enough or something.
Yeah. Anyway, we're geniuses.
So if you ever, this is the podcast where we teach you how to get out of kidnapping situations. Otherwise known as Yoppie Dudes. Nostromo says, I see a bad moon rising, is in reference to the
Creedence
song
Clearwater.
Bad Moon's Rising. Yeah. Which I've never caught until I wrote this on here and I'm like, how does that go? And I started off, I see a bad moon rising. And I'm like, oh, it's the first line of the song. Why is this in there? Why did they think, that'd be a sick reference?
And I was like, no, that can't be. But now that you tell me that, I'm even more disappointed.
Yeah, they just I don't know. Nothing else that he says in the episode is similar. He's just speaking in these he's either speaking in tongues or he's speaking these very prophetic statements, and then he just Clearwater Revival, Credence. You know what I'm fucking saying, you idiot.
Clarence Creedwater.
Creedwater. The name's
Rifle.
Clarence Creedwater. Rifle, yeah.
There's so so another one that just popped into my head was the whole, how he had the Nosferatu had his whole Nostromos had the whole
no, I prefer the
joystick thing, and he could make it look like he's levitating, and then Batman jumped on there at one point and lifted him up himself,
yanked him around. Yeah.
Why did he put him down? Batman could have hung him high in the air,
you have him,
and then that's it. You grab the paper that has them sign over their money to gold. You rescue
all
everybody.
you have to do is beat up Lucas, and you're good.
Which he's already done mostly. But he's aha, you're in the air, and now I'm gonna gently put you back down again.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity. God, this episode, it's so that. I can't wait to put this on the top 10.
Oh yeah. Well, when we were going through the trivia for Two-Face, I think it was part 1, and I had listed something about we finally found the tone for the show, and we're so happy that we know what to do now to make good episodes, and yet we still get these. It just makes on one hand I am so looking forward to getting past basically the first season of Batman.
You've said that
because
you're saying that
I've
increasingly.
said no.
Okay.
Yes, this is what I'm saying though. Is like I'm coming to realize like, oh no, it's not just the first like few episodes and then it's suddenly like really good. It's like the whole first like year of this show is just not so good. Like there's Heart of Ice, there's everyone's favorite On Leather Wings, there's all this stuff. But there's just so many of these, and I do look forward to that, but I also am like, but I have a lot of fun making fun of the stupid shit. Like when we get to like really extremely well crafted like serial storytelling, oh my god, it was this the whole time kind of shit, and then we'll be like, oh, I miss talking about how Nosferatu's wig looked stupid as hell.
Oh my god. Yeah, there's just so much about this episode is just ridiculously disheartening in that like it's just unexciting. It's not that funny.
Yeah.
There's some dumb, like the funniest bits was him being like, oh, psychic vibrations, Alfred.
Yeah. Or like fucking with the ropes like you were talking about, flinging them around and stuff. Like Batman just being a bitch this episode, just being very like, I don't know. he's us whole episode.
Can we we glossed over it. Bruce Wayne is in a falling elevator. Bruce Wayne is in an elevator falling. The elevator is falling. His building's not that tall. It's going to hit the ground really soon. The hatch on the top of the elevator flies open. A like grappling hook. Another Gravity Falls reference there. Grappling hook like shoots through the ceiling, and Batman comes flying out.
Yeah. He was, I don't know. Maybe his Bruce Wayne clothes are like tearaway snaps at all the edges. But they also like, he would have had to have left his Bruce Wayne clothes in the elevator. And they have a very like throwaway line about, the news said that Bruce Wayne survived, but how and how did he like fake that and stuff?
This is the thing. This is why this is such an infuriatingly unexciting episode. It's just like, you guys, Bruce Tim, which one? He said that some episode recently was like the worst episode ever.
I've got Batman in my basement.
Yeah. Way more enjoyable than this episode.
You'll probably like that. Yeah. These bad ones are ones that you'll probably remember more than like when I joked like, oh, do you remember what happens in Joker's favor? And you basically didn't. But it's like an episode that was not. I remember. It was not like amazing or terrible. It just happened.
Yeah.
But like I've got Batman in my basement. You're probably going to remember like, when Penguin used his lockpick gas
to disintegrate
a lot longer. Yeah.
I remember the bird seed in the warehouse. I remember his very first line forever. I'm going to remember the cardboard boxes covering the Batmobile. Yeah. I remember
sherbet.
I remember all of that. This episode, I hope I forget.
Right, yeah, there's nothing really that sticks out as like, oh, that really funny bad thing.
I guess I don't hope to forget. I don't expect to remember.
Well, Bruce Timm said of this episode's ending, if that whole end sequence with the spinning worlds in the observatory had gone to Junio or any other studio, I don't know what Junio is.
The guys that made Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, that's it. It might have come off, but it went to ACOM. They just weren't able to pull off that level of animation. And then Frank Power, the director, that broke my heart. I designed those planets using a circular template. How hard is it to animate circles? It was done by hand, and if we had done it now, it would have been done on computers and would have looked spectacular. When I knew the show was going to ACOM, a studio I'd had a long history with, I knew they weren't going to be able to pull it off. Admittedly, it was a tough sequence, but they should have been able to do it.
Wow.
So they're both just super pissed about the planets part.
Wow. Yeah, also, I like the idea that, like, something we didn't talk about was, like, basically the planets are crashing into each other, crashing into stuff. They're disintegrating like they're made of, like, very, very brittle, what's the newspaper glue?
Paper mache.
Paper mache. Like they're made of very,
you said
very...
that during the episode.
Yeah, my brain just stopped working.
What's the newspaper again?
It's made of very brittle paper mache, and yet here's Saturn just cutting the shit out of everything.
Yeah,
and there's not a scratch on it. It's like they made these like titanium rings
Yeah,
for
why
Saturn.
are the rings made of adamantium?
Right. Oh my god. This
Batman
episode
should melt that
Jamie.
down and make weapons out of it.
Right.
Batarangs.
That's what
Batarangs.
say Batman melted that down and forged some new weaponry and armor for himself.
His new missiles for his Batmobile.
Oh my god. Just behind Sherman's
There were a
head.
couple of surprisingly good, like, okay, not good. For ACOM, surprisingly good, like, moments in the animation when they're fighting on the walkway and there's the super bright light and they're kind of like silhouetted and rim lit with that. Like, that wasn't actually too bad. It looked okay. And I was like thinking the whole time, was there, because I remembered there was a quote from these guys talking about a bad animation, a bad moon rising at the end of the episode, but I couldn't remember what exactly it was about. So I was like, was it about this? Were they saying this fight was bad? This looks pretty okay. Especially, yeah, you said, Batman says, like, I wanted you to see the light, like 10 seconds after he turned the light on, which he definitely should have said right before turning the light on, which he said.
Wait, and then the bad guy had another one.
Yeah,
he had timed correctly. Something about planets and
I can't remember.
I don't. Yeah.
And then Batman had another pun, and then he punched that guy in the balls, and you fell out of the thing. Yeah.
I like that they managed to fall through like Jupiter or whatever that red planet was supposed to be. They like fall through the top of it and stop at the bottom. Like these things, these planets are so specifically dodgy.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's the thing. When the Earth planet thing fell down into the little alley or aisleway, it landed on one of the strong points. But when it rolled back over the dude, it was on a fragile point. Just like
he hit the one spot. Well, it's like we can blame the animation for that, but someone in the script notes, in the storyboards, whatever, said like, Batman falls through the top of this thing and doesn't fall out the bottom. Like, there's directions to tell the animators what to do. So somewhere along the line, there was something.
I blame everyone.
Yeah,
I'm not just blaming ACOM. We can laugh at ACOM all day, but no, I'm blaming everyone for this episode.
Yeah, whenever I told Maddie, like, hey, the next episode is Prophecy of Doom, and they're like, oh no.
Did they say, Jamie? No.
Spider-Man. Spider Conway. The last piece of trivia I have was the most interesting to me. It's in like 3 or 4 different parts here. So Nostromo was a 1904 novel by Joseph Conrad, Italian for shipmate or boatswain.
Oh.
But the name could also be considered a corruption of the Italian phrase nostro uomo, meaning our man. So there you go. In the book, Nostromo is a commanding figure respected by wealthy Europeans and is seemingly limitless in his abilities to command power among the local population. He is entrusted to remove silver from the town and smuggle it away from the prying hands of the revolutionaries, but he becomes shipwrecked on a deserted island, eventually losing his mind, taking a lifeboat out to sea, and shooting himself, after first weighing himself down with silver so that he might sink to the bottom of the ocean. So they didn't do that last part, but the rest lines up pretty okay.
Well, now.
He's trying to steal money from local rich people and then doesn't get away with it. But instead of killing himself in the middle of the ocean, Batman just kind of knocks him out or whatever.
Yeah, they don't really cover what happens to him afterwards other than that newspaper clipping.
Yeah, the newspaper says, like, local dumbass kicked in the head by Batman. And then
no, they had a whole, like the DA predicts a long sentence for, or whatever it was.
Yeah. So the weird part to me was, like, or the cool, like, trivia bit of this to me is that Nostromo is the name also of the ship in Alien, the movie Alien, the big ass ship that the alien's on. And I had always thought, like, there's got to be something there with like this character's name origin and that ship's name's origin, but it's the Nostromo. Nostromo is the main spaceship seen in the movie Alien. The Sulaco was the name of the ship in Aliens, and the town that the book is set in is Sulaco. So both of the alien ship names are apparently from this Nostromo book, I guess.
Okay.
Which is cool to me, but also like, why?
Yeah, it seems a little like, they're just like, oh, let's use a name. What movie did you watch last night? Alien.
Right, yeah.
Cool.
Like, this episode that we just watched has similar plot points to the book, but Alien is not about an alien that is respected by wealthy Europeans and seemingly limitless in his abilities to command power among the local population, smuggles silver and whatever. So I don't really know, but yeah, it's just kind of cool, but it doesn't make any sense either.
Wow.
So.
Jamie, I think we need to... Oh, I'm sorry. Are you done with your...
That's it. That's all the big trivs, yeah.
I think we need to... Big Trivs in Big Bus, Oregon.
This has been presented by Big Trivs.
I think we need to move on from this episode because it's... Oh, God, why?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just bad. And
it's bad.
Yeah.
I like that I can... I'm glad that I add these quotes from Bruce Timm and company on the trivia that say, like, we fucking hated this episode, so that I get to feel not so guilty about being, yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's hard to say because, like, maybe they'll have some extra tie to it and feel extra good about it because they worked on it. But here we are just watching a thing being like, oh, that sucks. Cool.
Right. It still took dozens of people hours and hours and hours of labor and time and all this stuff to create what we just saw,
right?
And we go, but it still doesn't mean everything is good just because of that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess yeah. I don't know. I do as well. I feel bad, but I also feel like maybe I shouldn't feel bad all the time.
Batman's usefulness. I think we've forgotten to talk about that the last couple podcast episodes.
Well, let's talk about it this podcast.
Yeah.
So moving on from Batman's usefulness, we have viewer mail. Listener mail. I did a Jamie thing.
No, we got a couple. We got other stuff.
Okay, Batman's usefulness. I think he like, you know, he did a pretty good job. He didn't really trust it from the start and made moves to kind of overthrow this dude.
I guess, like, he's the only one that discovered Nostromo. Like, okay, there have been episodes where if Batman didn't intervene, several buildings explode. In this episode, if he didn't intervene, some guy got away with ripping off a bunch of old people.
But also doing some, like, public... Like, he blew up a pretty big ship. He blew up the Titanic.
Okay, that's true.
But still,
they also mentioned a couple other, like, or the fires in this thing, or the whatever. Yeah.
But I guess also, like, that was supposed to be a gambling cruise. The Titanic was. And so it's not exactly like your layperson isn't going to be on there. Titanic, thank you.
So yeah, it only took us 40 minutes to come up with Titanic.
Yeah, but so the general public wouldn't have been super affected by this guy. He looked like he was just going to take the money and run, but all the same, Batman made some moves. So I guess
Batman was successfully effective, but it was not as, like, high stakes of a thing as normal or whatever.
Yeah.
No, like, people in this specific situation that he stopped, no one was going to, like, die as far as we know. I guess. Well, no,
he was going to blow up the girl and the guy.
Yeah.
Lucy and Father.
Sky with Diamonds, I think, was that guy's name. Yeah.
Boo.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will give Batman.
Sorry, I hit that a little late.
No, that's okay. You're supposed to hit it before. No, wait. Now say something funny.
What was it? Time to see the light or whatever.
Good job.
I can't remember. Yeah. All right, you.
Batman's usefulness. Anyway, I'm right here. I'm giving him 6 out of 10 psychic vibrations.
Vibrators,
psychic vibrators.
Heather Locklear.
This is a kids show. We got 0-year-olds listening to this, Jamie.
You're sure we sure do. You're not on the top 10. Okay. Wait, I didn't plug in the things.
Plug in the things?
I didn't plug in the headphones. I can't hear the song.
The song isn't. Oh, right. plug in the headphones. It's mail time, folks.
That yop had one small extra yop put it over.
Here's the mail, it never fails. Makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail. I mouthed that the last part. That one small extra yop.
Yeah, what you guys don't get the
full experience.
The joy of seeing is Jamie, mouthing out words and stuff. He also usually gets a shit-eating grin on his face just before he starts singing.
Oh, here it comes. All right, we have Thoughts of the Week from Dylan Black.
I wish you were better at that.
What I did at first was I swiped my entire hand across all the buttons, and none of them got pressed. So I had to, oh shit, and then go ahead and hit them one by one. Prophecy of Doom, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying, and Ponzi Scheme. I don't think any other children's show has ever used the word
proselytizing.
Proselytize. Yeah,
I didn't think about that, but I was just like, that's a big word.
I don't expect any children's show since has either. There's a moment around 13 minutes I rewound several times. Lisa's walking down a hallway. The hallway gets smaller, but she stays the same size. Noticing bad animation, I realized quickly this must have been an ACOM episode, something I wouldn't have thought about before this podcast. You're welcome, Dylan. I didn't catch that shot, even though I read that email a couple days ago. But
wow, I didn't catch it either.
I'm sure it's there, though. I have no doubt.
My eyes were glazing over by 13 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, what is going on? Dylan did send that in as an audio message, also, but I didn't have. I'm trying to figure out a way to. Anchor has a new feature where you can send audio messages in to a podcaster, and so I want to try to figure out how to play them on the soundboard so that people can actually, instead of sending in emails necessarily, they can their voices on the podcast.
I want, Jamie, I want is to hear other people saying the things that they're thinking rather than you reading it, because I am just so fucking tired of hearing your voice, Jamie. Yeah,
me too. So yeah, I'll figure that out soon, because it'd be kind of fun for the mail section to have a, get ahead of the curve and watch the next week's episode and send in a thing for that episode.
Do you think you can get that going by next week?
Sure.
I mean, I guess the other thing is if people, and also if you feel like cutting this out because I don't want to give you more work.
If people, don't tell me about people.
If listener wants to record an audio. You can record an audio file on your phone using the voice memo app thing. Mm-hmm. You could email that to, God, what is our email?
You had it.
Podtower.
Podcast
at Watchtower Database.
.gov. Yeah.
What?
No.
.com.
.org.
.edu.
.big.bus.
So if you,
yeah, well, all I have to figure out is how to not have to just hold my phone up to the microphone to play them. I want to be able to, there is a phone connectivity on the soundboard, so I want to be able to, just hook it in and play it through this. So, yeah, I want to.
Do that.
I just have to figure it out.
Just do that.
I'm not smart. Okay, let's read the comments from last episode. I had a little bit of what do we do next moment there for a second.
Anyway, yeah, send in audio clips. We'll try to get your spoken comments on the podcast, because I think that would be swell, because I want to hear.
You could do the email version that Brian just said, and sorry, Dylan, that I didn't play it this time, okay? Or we could try the Anchor version, which, if I've figured out how to do that, it's in a pinned comment on this video. If it's not, then I haven't, and don't try to do that yet, because I don't know how to do it.
But that would be cool. I specifically, I want to hear all those Australian voice memos, because great.
All 2% of you.
Yeah.
These are comments on our bonus Thank You Year 1 or Christmas Fillery Up episode. I've been really enjoying listening to you two since this podcast first started. This is from Nick Sorensen. Hi, Nick. I hope that James's voice gets better. It hasn't. it's fine.
It's better.
Yeah, so is yours. You got sick right after I did.
I got sick after you, and people didn't get to hear.
We
my
weren't
bad
even in the
voice.
same place. We just both happened to get sick.
Though I did send you a voice memo of my bad voice. My bad.
You
deep
did a
dark
Harvey
voice.
No also. We both did our Harvey No's, and
We're good. Anyway,
I
back to
look
Nick's
forward
comment.
to some more Yoppie fun. Merry Christmas to both of you. Merry Christmas, Nick. A month ago.
Merry next Christmas, Nick. Merry Christmas 2022.
Yeah.
How about that? Bet no one said that to you yet, huh?
MJ Barrett, happy holidays. I'm even wearing a Yoppie Dude sweater today. Go us. Hey, you're one of the 6 people that bought Yoppie Dude shirts.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope you feel better, Jamie. And you released the demon of the chain smokers from Flemington, New Jersey. And then you had replied, you're a true Yoppie Dude, which, see, you've seen these already.
I saw these.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
Let's
go through
see.
the comments. A lot of times I don't.
Batgirl Fangirl, love you too, James and Brian, and all my fellow listeners. Have a happy Yoppie Christmas, everyone. 5 stars, 5 Christmas trees. Just a bunch of Merry Christmases, Happy New Year's. Thank you, thank you. Dylan Pollock, a delicious cheese podcast just for me. And oh, look at Mr. I Read Books, Brian. I learned how to read and write just to take down you elitist reading types. Also, hi. And you said, didn't see that coming, did you? All right, anyway, actual comments on those aren't real. On Vendetta, last episode, Vendetta or Unbelievably Tiny Gloves. Serum Lake, I am impressed by Brian's knowledge of UK brands of tea and felt compelled to compliment him. Bravo.
Hey! Wait, who said that?
Serum Lake, which is one of our top patrons. So thank you.
Yeah. I spent a good amount of time around like Ireland and specifically Edinburgh, Scotland. I have some wonderful juggling friends from Edinburgh. What a great place that is.
Can you even pronounce it Edinburgh?
Edinburgh, not Edinburgh. I would never say that.
Edinburgh.
I guess I just did.
Yeah.
But I'm sure not saying it quite properly, not
Who
as
knows?
a Scotsman might, but yeah, no, I love the UK. Spent a good time around London and all, and being a not coffee drinker, you gotta get a proper cuppa, you know.
I do enjoy going to tea with you and having the tea. You have the best tea. So.
I know.
Just saying.
I'm
Cole's
not-
Corner
yep.
says, "Yeah, here we go.
Oh, we're going
Get
there.
out of here. You're done with tea talk. New year, new yop. Hey guys, I've really enjoyed the podcast. Can't wait for more. You guys help me get through work every day. Hope you guys have a great 2022. You too, Cole. Thank you.
Oh man, every day. We need to do like at least 5 days a week. How many days a
Yeah.
week are you working? Because we need to.
I
do
mean,
that
maybe
many.
Cole listens to like a third of an episode or like a fifth of an episode every workday.
Yeah, maybe.
Speaking of which, I've had 3 nightmares now in the last like 4 weeks about Big Bus Oregon, and I'm like they're all seemingly fine until about halfway through the dream I'm having to like break in unnoticed, or one of them was I walked in like rednecky clothes in order to blend in with the lower deck workers, and like had to go into my old office and like steal something. It was they're all so weird. They're all like heists that I'm pulling on Big Bus, and I don't understand
What are you
why
going
I'm
into
having
steal?
I don't know. I think one of them was like blueprints to something, but they're
To a
all.
big
It's
bus.
always but it's always like it feels so important when it's happening in the dream. Like I have to do this, and I know the ways to sneak into the building or whatever.
You have to go steal Mormon daughter's cloth swatches.
Yes, that's the name of the next Batman episode. Aussie Dragoon says, I remembered watching this episode, Vendetta, and my takeaway was, why did Croc never use his ability to perfectly mimic Bullock's voice ever again in the series? Like, at the very least, he could use it to get voice work as a Danny DeVito stand-in or something if he wasn't going to use it for crime anymore. Considering what will happen in a later episode, I guess Croc just has a very elastic, workable voice. Either way, Yoppie New Year, Broderick, and friend. Thanks, I'm friend.
I am so upset that this is becoming a thing.
I mean, the more you say that, the more people are going to do it.
I am
Shane
so
Martin.
happy that
Yeah, I love it.
calling
Broderick is my favorite. Your dogs are growling. Yeah. Oh, why, Broderick? Why? Shane Martin says, as a longtime BTAS fan, this pod has really meant a lot. Looking forward to future episodes. Thank you, Shane. These are all like... These are all really nice. Yeah, because this was the like New Year's Eve episode. So
people are feeling
No Net plays Instant Smile when Brian sung the OG soundboard music at the start. Scarface Nate, the year 2022 is approaching. Two-Face would be really pleased. Here's the survival. Great episode, by the way. Also, I like the Batman 2004 adaptation of Killer Croc with his Cajun accent. And I like the fact he had a tail, though he also had pet crocodiles before Batman killed them and had a scar on his face. But his origin is just as mysterious as they say. He's either a crossbreed soldier, genetic experiment, or messed up with dark magic. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar enough with this version of the character. I believe you, though. I'm mixed with that show's version of Penguin, though. He's a mix of Danny DeVito's Penguin and BTAS, and even had an army of pet birds. Funny, he's also voiced by Tom Kenny, SpongeBob, and that penguin has a weird laugh, to be honest.
SpongeBob and Batman animated universe.
It's me, the penguin. Walk.
I know. Can we like make a quick cut, like a video cut of that, and like instead of penguins, like for in replace of his first word, just have it be SpongeBob's laugh.
SpongeBob laugh.
He, like,
yeah.
Open his mouth and you just hear the.
That's a penguin. Yeah. I'm ready. MJ Barrett. Part of Bruce Wayne's wealth has to come from glass production and home repairs because the amount of time he just breaks the windows. Yeah, I guess so.
He's a glass
Now, I
mogul.
think there was an episode, the Robin one, the Suddenly There Came a Robin. We said that Bruce Man swung and like broke through that lady's window that was like, oh my. But I think the window was already open. So just got to clarify that I was wrong. Okay?
Damn.
Batgirl Fangirl. Wow, I had no idea Joey the Snail was such a bad dude. I really like Vendetta. I can't remember what I said Joey the Snail did. I like oh, it was he did a 605 or whatever the.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like just destatuing a statue. Or something.
He was messing with like markers, monuments. I think was the word.
Monuments. That's what it was. Yeah.
See,
I really like.
I'm so good at this.
Yeah, it's all you. I really like Vendetta mainly for the animation and the music, so I'm glad you liked this one. I loved all your observations: the police uniforms, Conway's mouth, Rupert Thorne's apron knot, but most of all, Batman's trip to the zoo. Great episode, Brian and James. 5 stars, 5. I think they're crocodile emojis. YouTube's version of emojis are a little weird. Oh, Scarlowy says it's Broderick, not Brian.
Oh, Scarlowy. Yes, that is my name. Rolling
Cole's
with
Corner,
it.
Cole's Corner again, saying Brian is obviously an immortal being born at the beginning of time.
Wait, they know?
No. Dylan Pollock, you sirs have done my puns no justice. Happy New Year. I'm sorry, Dylan. Wow, I love that deep cut Hans Sprungfeld reference, LOL. Brian's phone died, or James is finally fulfilling our plan of cutting him out to create the new Jump on the Bat-Wagon 2.0 with James and Dylan, and sometimes Broderick. We'll have the Broderick Pollock Hour. Broderick Pollock.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. That was such a good like year-end moment. Is just have your Brian's phone died. I hope we're talking at the same time, and then we're just talking over each other without being able to hear each other.
I love
like that. That wouldn't have happened if we had been in
up,
person.
Though.
Yeah.
That was so cool. But yeah, I listened to that episode because I'm like, I wonder what Jamie's gonna do at the end, and I listened to all the way through, and I was like, that is glorious. I was actually pretty happy that happened.
Shane Martin, 5 tiny gloves out of 5 tiny gloves. Matthew Ledbetter, you blew it, you jerks. Scarlowy 1. Bruce Wayne goes to the zoo. 2 electric bataloo. Cole's Corner, guys, help. I think I just watched the wrong Vendetta. Natalie Portman is in it, and a guy in a troll mask just blew up Parliament.
However, that is closer to my prediction.
It was, yeah. That's basically it. Just a few more happy New Year's, yappy New Year's. Thank you, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good first 21 days of the new year. and all that good shenanigans and whatnot, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, nothing much has happened so far, but maybe a lot's happened to you, Broderick.
I've been so busy.
Have you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I mean, busy is money. That's what the business
So next
says.
week's episode is called The Forgotten.
What?
Oh, sorry.
already-
Next week's episode is called The Forgotten.
I already don't remember
I can't
what that
remember
is
what
called.
I also don't remember what you predicted when I told you the name of this episode already, because I've forgotten. Wait, sorry, hang on, rewind, pretend that none of that I said that.
Okay,
here we go.
okay.
I've already don't remember what your prediction was because I've forgotten.
Jamie, you're one of a kind, man.
I know. That'll be next week. Thanks everybody for listening. That's the end of the podcast.
I'm sorry this episode it wasn't great.
We don't always have to apologize.
We don't?
They get it.
But we're guilty. We have those guilty consciences that just like, oh God, people have to listen to this. We're forcing them to listen and they hate
I
us.
see a bad podcast ending.
Right.
If you want to reach out to us like the fire hand at the end of the Cat in the Claw Part 2, you can email us at podcast@watchtowerdatabase.com. Try the audio message. I'll see if I can figure it out. I
Yeah,
might not
send
be
us
able
some
to,
audio
but-
messages. Tell me about your favorite tea. Oh my God,
yes.
tell me about
Yeah.
your favorite tea.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or, about the forgotten.
Or the forgot. That's fine too. I mean, we can either do Batman or we can do tea. It's either hip hop.
It's either Batman
books.
or T. There you go. New episodes are released every Friday on the Podtower YouTube channel, as well as
Not
Apple
Stitcher.
Podcasts, Spotify, Not Stitcher, Musical Guest, Not Stitcher. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Is that
See
it?
you next time.
Are we
That's
done?
it.
I love
hope
you.
So. God.
Listener.
Me?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I like you.
Okay, bye.
I can't believe I was so gullible. But that's what I get for putting my faith in greed.
You weren't the only one, Daddy.
Guilty as charged. As the bard once said, the fault lies not in the stars, but in ourselves.